Alrighty then. My name is Jeff. Anybody know that pop culture reference? We've got a lot to talk about today. We are going to do an update on the reset, kind of show you my numbers since I started doing that. We're going to take a look at eBay's stock price, see what it's telling us as it gears up for the earnings next week, which we are all patiently waiting for. I'm going to talk about why yesterday was a crap day for me. And we're going to give 5 things I'm doing, maybe 6, if I think another one between now and when I get to that segment. What I'm doing to kind of get through this nasty period of reselling that we're all experiencing. And yeah, I think that's a good starting point. And we're going to go over a few sales. Some of the clips are going to be, it's going to be quick. You're just going to see the stuff that's on the table. I'm going to kind of go over it because it's stuff that's already gone. And I have a few sales here, and I have a local sale today that should be coming soon. I'll show you that as well. So a lot to talk about. I wanted to make a video yesterday, but I woke up. We all have a routine. Make coffee, sit down, start seeing what, offers I've got, what orders I've got to pull, what I've got to package. And my printer just isn't working. It's spitting out labels and they were blank. So, I had orders that had to go out that day and I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? So wasn't expecting to have to even go out yesterday. I was just going to have a nice relaxing day. My shippers come on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but then so I had to go into my shipper. They're pretty well versed on technical difficulties with printers. It's really great. They helped me out, got that fixed. But when I do go out, I like to source a little bit, and the next thing 4 or 5 hours go by. Then I get home. Yesterday was a really bad sales day. Even though the reset is something that we have found that works out of, so many things that is just speculation. It's not perfect either, right? Like, is it something that will be less effective over time? It remains to be seen. Sometimes the resets, I get action, but sometimes it doesn't translate into sales. So it's like, okay, is it my pricing? Is it the economy? Is it for whatever reason? Is it just, a slow day? Yesterday was a slow day, but then I got home, I sold this VHS tape. I could not find it. I literally looked for probably 2 hours. And so that pretty much took up the rest of the time that I was going to set aside to make a video. So I messaged the guy. And I'm like, I tried to be like, and it wasn't even an expensive VHS tape. So, it was for like $8.50. So I'm like, hey, if you want to pick something out of my store for up to $25, like I'm basically giving him 3.5 times the amount that he spent to try to not get that, defect on my account. So then I didn't hear from him, so I sent him that message late last night when I basically got to a point where I'm calling it. I'm like, okay, I don't remember ever selling this, so I don't believe it was something that got relisted. I think it's just misplaced, maybe the SKU. The thing is I looked everywhere where it could possibly be, so it just happens. When you have X amount of items, it just happens every once in a while. So I woke up, still didn't see any message from him. So, I'm starting to get paranoid. I'm like, okay, is he, and he's a relatively newish. I think he only has 18, that little number beside his username. So then, okay, let me go out and see if I can maybe buy one for him and have it sent directly to him. So I found one, contacted the seller. The original buyer is in Virginia. The seller that I contacted is in Illinois, so it's closer than me. And it's a brand new copy. So I spent $4 more to just have that item shipped to him. That way I don't have to close out my order. He gets a better copy. He gets it faster. And yeah, I mean, sometimes this is what we have to do to prevent, to keep our account health in as optimal position as we can. Because we know there's going to come times when things are just out of our control. Maybe this happens in the future and I can't find that item in a better condition, or maybe I find it but that seller won't do that. So I think we have to control what we can control, and just move forward. So that's done. I don't got to worry about that anymore. So let's go over a few items that I've sold that I haven't packaged up yet. Hey, if anybody noticed, I'm filming in the daylight, so that proves I'm not a vampire, right? It just rarely happens that I'm actually able to film in the day. I sold, wouldn't be an episode if I didn't sell a keychain, Dodge keychain. This sold for $21 shipped, including, that includes the shipping. A little Betty Boop, $16 shipped. Sold, I just listed this last night, the Spider-Man comic. This sold for $17 plus shipping. This is a pretty much garbage sale. $5 plus shipping. Couldn't get him to, well, he hasn't even paid yet for this yet, so maybe he still might add something. But sometimes I will accept lower on an item. I used to keep track. I used to keep this spreadsheet of buyers, and my intention was to, this was actually back when we actually saw people's emails, and through when PayPal, when it was billed through PayPal, so you could almost kind of keep a database and then contact people outside of eBay. I can see why they did away with that, but I would keep a database of like first-time buyers, and I would give them a deal. And then I would also keep track of whether they've left positive feedback, because in the future, if somebody made me an offer, I could go to my spreadsheet, see that they've bought from me before, and that would sometimes dictate whether I wanted to counter, because if I've known that they've bought from me before and they left positive feedback, then they were coming back and knowing that they were happy, that maybe it wouldn't be like you counter and then the buyer just disappears. I used to do that. I don't know why I stopped, other than the fact that it just was a lot of work. But yeah, there's all kinds of different strategies that you can implement. Where was I even going with this? Did I show you this? I don't think I did. This sold for $20. Now, I had this graded very, very high. Now, if you sell collectibles that where you're grading, where you're assigning a grade to it, if I get an offer, I will always double check the grade to make sure that the grade that I stated is the grade that it is at. Especially if I'm going to counter, because if I'm going to counter, I know I want to make sure that all my ducks are in a row, because I don't want to counter and then, send them something that I misgraded, and because they're already probably going to be annoyed that I'm countering. And I'm glad that I did this in this case, because this was mispriced to begin with, and he had offered me $27. And that was when I had it graded at basically the highest grade. The highest grade that I assign to a comic is near mint plus 9.6 to 9.8. So I give it a range, but I'm also a conservative grader. So I checked it out, looked at it, and I saw that I missed something on the back. It had a few light spine ticks. So in this instance, he had an offer sent out to him, and he didn't counter. He emailed me and said, hey, this is what I can do. So I had to actually end the item, relist it, give it the new grade, and basically in this instance I just listed it as high grade, stated the defects, and so then I messaged him, sent him the link to the new item, and I'm like, hey, I explained that I had to regrade it and this is what it is now. So then he adjusted his offer down to 20, which I'm going to accept, because I was actually, if it was going to be the grade that I had initially, I was thinking maybe I might pull this down and send this to CGC myself, because there's only 250 of these particular issues, and the cover artist for this his name's Jamie Tyndall, and he does a lot of work for this. Zenescope is the comic publisher. I mean, you know Marvel, you know DC, you probably don't know Zenescope unless you're a comic guy, but they do a lot of let's just say they do a lot of risque covers, like a lot of girls are on their covers and whatnot. I mean, this one is not risque at all, but there is a demand. There is a market for those types of books. And given that there was only 250 of those, I was like, okay, maybe I should send that in and get it graded. But the whole point of this story is to, you know, double check your stuff when you get counters or when you get offers, and to make sure that what you get it. All right, another sale. I just had a sale I got to go pull out there in a second. Somebody bought these Scooby-Doo VHS and then added a DVD. So the total for this order is, I think it was $37. But I'm not counting this as a sale right now because he's zero feedback. Brand new buyer. I sent the invoice last night. I don't really know exactly what's going on. He bought the VHS, and then I let him know if he wanted to add any other media, then I could do free shipping on that. And then he just messaged me DVD, and I'm like, oh, that's all he says. So I don't know if he meant I meant to buy DVD, and then there's been like no communication, so I don't know where that's gonna go. A few quick sales today. These 3 Spawn comics sold for $49. This Aspen keychain for $15. This Cry Me a River Goose. What's that say? GOSE. I don't know. This beer tap sold for $19, I think. And then this guy bought this Egyptian Ankh button for $8 and added with free shipping on the other 2, not on. So it was. So this whole order was $22, including shipping. All right, it is now Wednesday morning. I'm just showing you some orders. I'm going to show you 8 orders real quick. These 2 Glories sold for $12. They're by Alan Moore. He's the guy who did Watchmen. So he's definitely a very cool writer. Jazz Legends. This sold for $9. These combined, if I'm remembering correctly, they sold, so they were $18 shipped. He bought 1 and then he added 2, and he's actually still shopping, so he might add more. This book, My Journey to Lhasa, this sold for $15. This has a lot of wear, I believe. Yeah, it's got a lot of wear. I remember when I was looking this up, there are some early editions of this book which bring in a lot of money. Keep an eye open for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 issues of Team Yankee sold for $20. I accepted an offer for this Comics Journal magazine. I showed you guys when I bought a whole lot of these at a thrift store. They continue to sell. They're slow sellers, but I like selling things like this. And then Little Twin Stars. This is a really old wallet from 2002. And this is, these things are and I remember there's actually some damage inside with one of the, I believe the place where you hold pictures. I can't remember, but this is really super adorable. And then I remember adding this one to the listing. These two combined sold for $47. And then I want to show you, I have a local pickup today. This painting is going out for $100. You guys have seen this in my background before. I just think it's, when I picked it up, it just, you know, I just thought it was striking, and I thought, you know, someone else is going to be wanting to buy this. And then this one I just picked up yesterday. I don't know anything about it. The funny thing is, I'm walking around the thrift store, and I'm kind of like on the fence. I'm like, I really like it. I don't know. It was, you know, it was a little more, not really a little more, but what I normally pay. Normally I get things really inexpensive. And then I'm looking at the hats, and I'm sensing somebody is behind me. And they were like, trying to look at the picture, so I let them see it. And then turns out she was like a retired art teacher, and she was telling me, she was like, she looked at the price and she's like, this is a really good deal. She's like, and then she was just talking a little bit about it, how it's mixed medium, but it's done really well. There's like these grooves, like these are, I don't really know much about art. I like to learn. It's something that I do want to get into at some point. It's more art, just because I like art in all mediums. So I'm gonna get this listed today. Okay, a customer bought these two Batman books for $15, and then I was able to upsell him. He added this for $10, this for $10, and this one for $3. I know I talk about the later run issues of Spawn as being worth a lot of money. The early Spawns are not worth a whole lot of money, and it's funny because this one wasn't even listed. He just asked me about it, and I knew that I had just picked up some Spawns, and there were some early Spawns in there. So I just charged him $3 to just help cover the shipping and handling that increased a little bit by him adding a couple. But, you know, you turn a $15 order into a $38 order. That's a win-win for me. Okay, so this is the painting. Well, it's a print. It's, believe it or not, this is actually from IKEA. IKEA did 3 different, kind of like a series of these kind of pop arts. This one's by Deborah Azzopardi. I hope I got that name right. She's a British pop artist. And I've had all 3 before, and I've sold them for decent money. And this one is selling for $65, and it's in really good shape. A lot of times I've come across these before at different thrift stores, and they're really, lots of times they're dinged up, they're not taken care of, but this one's really high grade, very, very few flaws at all. And they're really cool. They're in like, I forget the artist. Can't remember it's in the vein of a was it Lichtenstein? I don't know. I can't remember. I'm trying to learn more about art because it fascinates me, and it's something that I want to get into at some point. Like, I just like selling art. I think it would be fun. And, you know, you just got to start small, and, you know, then pretty soon you're buying bigger pieces of art and flipping those. I think it's good to have, you know, different paths that you could go down in the future in business. So, yeah, so this guy's coming today, $65. All right, so I don't really use the word BOLO on my channel. I don't really like that word, to be honest with you. This is something that will sell if you can find it. I didn't know anything about it. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, seasons 1 and 2 DVD, and they're pre-owned. They're not in, like, they're not perfect, and they still sold for $39 including shipping. So that's with the shipping. So yeah, you can keep an eye open for these, and you know, pick them up cheap enough. They will sell, and it didn't take. This is a fast sell through for me, usually like a couple months. So the other day I showed you guys that Thai Demon mask that people wanted to. There's a couple, and they're working on like I believe it's like a college final film, short film or something like that. So they contacted me, and they were looking for some more stuff. So this is an upsell for locals, which is exciting because, you know, I love my upsells. And all of these things were actually on eBay. Now, maybe it was how I described them. Maybe it's just because they're obscure. But the fact that, you know, they didn't sell, eBay's loss. Sorry. And all three of these were bought from the same lot early in the summer where I bought all those books that you've seen me sell. Like, it's almost like every video I sell, something that's coming out of that lot. And I still have so much more. So they wanted anything from Bali, Indonesian area, and all of these are from the people that I bought the estate sale. They had traveled all over the world. I could have bought so much stuff. And, you know, I just like buying stuff like this. You know, I don't know how much it's worth. I know that this is like, I don't want to say goes against resellers' rules, but I mean, like, everyone's always like, you know, comp this, comp that, make sure you know exactly what the sell-through rate is. And I don't do any of that. That's me. I don't claim to do things by the book. But, you know, my motto is I like to buy I like to keep reselling fun, right? I like to buy things that I like. I like to buy things that I think other people will eventually determine that they need. So basically, I'm selling all three of these for $75. So there's this Balinese bell, ceramic, and then a couple like fabric, tapestry, kind of like fabrics. I don't know what you want to call them. There's that one. And this one isn't even, it's not perfect. It's not like, it's got some fading, but yeah, there's that. And I actually had this, I had this one listed for 25 on eBay. Actually, this one I don't think was on eBay yet. I think I was getting ready to list it. So, and they are so excited to get this. I'm excited. Hopefully, maybe I can get them to send me like a link or some information when they're done. But I've had a number of people, you know, buy things off of me for theater, for movies, for independent movies that they're going to be making. And I was thinking the other day that would be fun to get into, is to, you know, there's a big movie industry around here, and, you know, selling unique or getting into like props. I think that would be fun. I think that would make for a very fascinating also YouTube channel as well. Like to, you know, start a business, maybe a brick and mortar, which I'm not crazy about, but I do know that it is my soon-to-be daughter-in-law's dream to have like a consignment shop where she curates certain, you know, house like decor for houses. And we've talked that, you know, maybe sometime down the road, because you can't really, these days, you can't have, I believe, you can't have like a small shop and not sell online as well. So maybe we do some sort of collab, and, you know, I teach her, you know, we work together. You know, I think that would be cool for a YouTube channel as well. Like, that would be great content if, you know, who knows what the future holds, right? I always have a lot of ideas tossing around in my head, but yeah, I like to have a shop where it's like she does her thing with curating for home decor. I do my thing. I'm in the back shipping things out. Also do like rent props to the movie industry. I think that would be fun. And I think all of that would just make for like a fascinating YouTube channel. Whether or not anything ever comes about it, you know, it's good to have visions, and it's good to have ideas to keep you moving towards a goal. So I'm going to show you a small video that I did showing you unique. I don't know. Maybe it's well known. I didn't know about it. I wanted to try it for cleaning some shoes. Okay, guys. I have these shoes right here. And I bought them a long time ago, and I have been dying to try this method out of cleaning the white area around, I don't know what you call that area of the shoe. And they're just some Vans that I bought at a garage sale a while back, and they're in really good shape. They're practically new. Yeah, I would say they're practically new. They're a small size, and all I remember is like, okay, I'm gonna need to clean this. And I remember watching a video where you take a potato. Apparently there's something in the starches, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it on camera. Let's see what happens. So you just take it. I should have probably watched the video again, but dude, I just had a hectic day today, so as you can see, it's dirty. Let's do this area right here where it's really dirty. See what happens. I'm gonna end up pausing this shortly and doing the rest of it. I'm not gonna keep you guys here the whole time watching me do this. I need a wipe. Have you guys ever heard of this method? Using a potato to clean a shoe? I think it actually works. What do you guys think? I'm gonna pause it and do the rest of the shoe, and then we will see. So just, you know, take a mental note. Sounds really bad. All right, we'll be back. The verdict is in. You can legit use a potato to clean your shoes. They're not 100% perfect in that one little area, but you know what? It's good enough. I think I've done this like 3 times. Every time I think they're done, I see a spot, I'm like, okay, I gotta clean that. You know, I'm not gonna be a perfectionist, but they're pretty good. It's kind of cool. You know, I'm not saying this is the way to clean shoes. I'm just saying this is something that I saw on YouTube sometime, and I'm like, I want to try that. Yeah, I bet you never thought you'd see this on this channel. Here is eBay's stock chart. Let's take a look and see if we can get any clues as to see the direction that it could move with next week's earnings reports. And I also want to take the second to thank all the new subs that have come on board. I just broke 1,800. Kind of blows me away that this many people have actually hit that sub button. If you haven't, now would be a great time. I try to provide interesting and unique takes and share kind of like what I have learned and what I am learning along this journey. So yeah, if you want to maybe you know, do the things to support the channel, feeding the YouTube algo, that would be greatly appreciated. So this week the market went down a bit, and eBay really kind of declined relative to the kinds of moves that it's used to having. So it was down, well, wait, so for the week it was down 7% for the week. So this is a weekly chart. So let's go back. So this is the monthly chart. The last time I did the analysis, I believe we were right around 41 or 42. And I had basically suggested that we are most likely heading down here to this. This is long-term support, but there is an outside chance this is also a level of support that we could easily fall down to if the earnings are perceived to be, let's just say, not conducive to long-term growth. And, you know, I think Wall Street kind of sees through the parasitic relationship that eBay has with its sellers. And, you know, I really wish eBay would take a more symbiotic approach to its sellers and the relationship to our profit margins. I think they're going to learn the hard way that they can only take so much money from us without expanding their core business and finding ways to actually help sellers increase their business, which in turn increases eBay's business and bottom line as well. So, as I said, the long-term uptrend for eBay, it is still strong, but things seem to be changing under the surface. And I was surprised to see this move pre-earnings. It could be telling. It could be a harbinger that we are going to probably maybe trade down to this 27.5. If it makes it down there, and if it makes it down there quickly, I actually think this area is probably going to be a buying opportunity. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not buying it. I'm looking at the technicals. I'm a technical trader. And I would suspect it to bounce. So if it makes it down here relatively fast, this becomes support. And these lines, as they move down, they will become resistance. So we'll have to kind of see what happens. But you can see how these are moving averages. When the moving averages green are on top of the red, they provide support in an uptrend. So support, uptrend. Now, as these start to flip, this turns out to be very bearish behavior. I'll show you what I mean on a smaller time frame. So this is the weekly chart of eBay. So you can see these red moving averages provide support in an uptrend. Support. Now, after it flipped, now these red lines become resistance. So when it trades above it, this is a good shorting opportunity. I wouldn't call this a buying opportunity. I would say, yeah, if you really wanted to do some short-term trading, maybe, but I would only be looking to short in downtrends. So like this would be a short. And you can see here that as these moving averages, they get tighter and tighter, it's a period of indecision, but now that indecision is becoming decisively down. So this is what I'm saying. We are a little bit oversold. One thing also I wanted to point out, which as I was like analyzing this chart, I found to be extremely odd. These lines down here, these are the monthly volumes. So you can see eBay back from 212 to 216, I would say the average monthly volume was right around 700 to 800 million shares traded. This is very strange how the volume on eBay has just dried up. This month, it traded like, I think 100 million. I think that's about what it is, 100 million so far, and it did 100 million last month. The fact that the volume on this stock is drying up just indicates that institutions, they're not putting money or a lot of money. I believe they're not putting a lot of money into eBay. They probably, but even on this move up was accompanied by declining volume. So I don't know. I just found that peculiar. So this is the daily chart, and you can see we're really, in my opinion, we're really oversold. I mean, you look 1, 2, 3, 7 out of the last 8 trading days have been down, and 42 to 38 on a stock that doesn't trade. Its average daily range is not that big. That's actually a big move. It's very indicative that more losses are coming. And then I do also want to point out that the entire market, in my opinion, does not look good. So this is the NASDAQ. That's what eBay trades on, what exchange. And we're setting lower highs here. We're getting, in my opinion, to an area where, I don't know, it could trade sideways to down as it consolidates. I don't really know what's going to happen, but if the overall market is down too, that is going to have an impact on eBay stock price as well. So to recap, I'm thinking we're heading down to 35 at minimum, potentially down to the 26 to 27.5 range if the earnings are perceived to be negative. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Okay, so here are the statistics. So since the reset, so I started on October 10th with my account. It is up 61.6%. Now this number has come down. It's going to be interesting to see how this number continues to change, because the last reset I did, it didn't have that same oomph. And I don't know, maybe it becomes ineffective over time. Maybe just every once in a while, sales just aren't there. Maybe it's the time of day that we do the resets as well. It's like all of these things we need to experiment and share with the class what you're doing that's working, what you're doing that's not working. So this account is up 5% from this time of 2023 compared to last year of 2023. And I'll be honest, this fourth quarter does not feel right, in my opinion. It does not. Like, this seasonality is on our side right now, and it feels like it's pretty much the same as the third quarter, which it shouldn't be. And if it's the same, then it's down. And if we are experiencing, the kinds of sales that we're experiencing, I just don't know. I just cannot foresee a good earnings report from eBay. It would go against everything that makes any kind of sense. Okay, and then on Maria's account, I didn't start her reset till the 13th. It's still up 121% since I started the reset. This time, this compared to last month. Let me go back to total buyers, 56 up 27%. And then, so total buyers, 56 up 124%, up 121%. And quantity sold, what's the quantity sold on mine? 57 up 19%. So Maria's account is up 17% this year compared to last year. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I'll take it in this climate, but it should be so much better. Like, it's just frustrating, the lack of activity on the site, the site issues, and so that's my stats so far. If you're unfamiliar with the reset and you're new to this channel, I will link that in the bio. That's just a way to refresh your store, to try to get through. It's not ideal. It sucks that we even have to do that. I would rather just spend my time listing. eBay, if you're listening, stop it. Stop throttling everybody's traffic. It's ridiculous. I know there's buyers out there. There's no reason everybody should be experiencing the sales that we're experiencing. I think I'm going to end this video here. I think I'm going to go into the reasons or things that I've done in my business. I'm going to let those marinate for a little bit more. And I think this video has gone on long enough. And there's kind of like a potpourri of things going on in this video. so I can make a more focused video next time. But I do want to give a shout out to Mike over at Darts Thrifter. I want to recommend his channel. He did some really good work with promoted listing experimentation within kind of like the reset, and he shows his results. I'll link that below. I will leave it to him to best explain what he did. And it's interesting. And I think it correlates with Primo Chemo's experience. Oh, I gotta pause this. The guy who's here to buy the painting. Back. Isn't that the way life is when of a reseller? It's like sales just interrupt our lives, and we have to like drop everything just to make that happen, right? So anyhow, happy that is on its way to a new home, and I'll be on the lookout for more of those. So I was saying Mike is doing some work, or he did some work with promoted listings, and it's in line with what Primo Chemo, who has been doing this reset method since June, I believe, and he did some work with the promoted listings, and they correlate. So check out Mike's channel, and he's going to be doing more experiments, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that go. And again, I encourage everybody to play around and you know, like for example, I'll give you an example. This is something that I'm going to try one of these days just to see if it does anything different. Like normally when I do the reset, I stay focused and I just get it all done. You know, it normally takes me about 45 minutes because I'm super paranoid about making sure everything is ended, relisted, and then delete the unsold before, you know, you go back. You know, you really have to stay present. And so something that I was wondering if it would make any difference is, instead of doing it all at once, like if you're going to be home for like a good bit of the day, break it up into batches. So maybe do 1/5 of your store at 10 a.m. And then go about your day, and then do 1/5 of your store at noon, or 1/5 of your store at 2, and et cetera, until you get to the end of the day. And I wonder if spreading it out like that would do anything with the algorithm, or is it better just to do it all at once? And that's just one small variation of ways that you can play and experiment and, you know, report back to the community, and then someone else can see that and see whether it's ineffective, effective, and then from there, you know, there's other variations that we can try. This is how, you know, we help each other, because eBay isn't doing us any favors. They're not helping us. They're radio silent. It is what it is for now. It's pretty frustrating, and yeah. So hey, have a great weekend, guys. I've got to run. I got to run some errands. My daughter and her partner are coming over for pizza later, and looking forward to that. Hope you have a great weekend. I might even do some sourcing this weekend. Like I'm feeling like I'm in a position where I feel like doing a little bit of sourcing before the weather really turns to crap here. It's really cold today. It's really nice out, but it's kind of like, maybe it's not even like it's that cold, but it's just, you know, it's that acclimating from summer to fall. I don't like this time of the year. Also after this, there's going to be a little short video clip. I'm going to show you a book that I pressed, that I picked up at the last comic show that I went. And I'm going to show you the before and the after. Every once in a while you press a book and you're just like, wow, that really helped it. Like, and I just thought this was a cool little before and after. And this particular book is actually gone up significantly in price from the last time. I think it used to be like a $20 book. I think now it's like a $40 to $50 book. So I was really glad I picked it up and paid like $1 for it. So, all right, guys, cheers. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.